paper 2, which is MCQ, October-November 2022 biology paper. And I will just be reviewing it and then going over the mark scheme, so I'm not going to get 100% correct for all the answers. So stay tuned till the end. Okay. Which process provides an organism with the raw materials needed for tissue repair? So tissue repair, she should think protein. And which process? So the first question is usually related to Mrs. Gren. And with the raw materials, so organisms take in raw materials, which is nutrition. This is like the removal of raw materials. This is increase in cell size, and this is chemical process that produces energy, so it's not any of these. Which name is given to a group of individuals that can reproduce to produce fertile offspring? This is the key term here, and this is species. Species is a group of organisms that can produce fertile offspring, which is a definition that you need to know. Okay, root hair cells are found on plant roots. Okay, which feature is present on a root hair cell but not in a sperm cell? So root hair cell, but not in a sperm cell. Sorry, can't draw. So a root hair cell is a plant cell, and a sperm cell is an animal cell. So these are the key features. So a root hair cell doesn't have chloroplast because it's in the ground, so it won't have chlorophyll to photosynthesize. They both have cytoplasm, they both have a cell membrane, but only the root hair cell will have a cell wall. Okay, question 4. The diagram shows a cross-section of a part of a leaf. Which type carries out the most photosynthesis? So photosynthesis happens by chloroplasts, and most chloroplasts are clearly evident in these plants, and you have to know that this layer is called a palisade mesophyll layer. This is the spongy mesophyll. This is the lower epidermis. This is the upper epidermis. But what we're looking for is a palisade mesophyll layer has the most chloroplasts, so it photosynthesizes the most. Okay, some examples of substances moving across membranes are listed. Glucose molecules into the epithelium of the small intestine. So this is, you should think, active transport. And then nitrate ions for dilute solution in soil in more concentrated solution on root hair cells. And the last one is water molecules from mesophyll cells into the air spaces of a leaf. This is diffusion. In which ones must oxygen be present? So if this is in the air, I think oxygen must be present in this one. So we have 3, so this is not B. Glucose molecules in the small intestine. I don't think oxygen has to be present for that. And nitrate ions for dilute solution in soil. I'm actually not sure about this question. So if I had to guess, well, oxygen must be present. Well, since this is active transport, you need ATP, which comes from glucose plus oxygen, creating carbon dioxide and water and ATP, so it could be that, but I'm really not sure. So I'll just guess this one for now. My best guess I can make is obviously something including 3, and since my active transport thing fits oxygen, so I'll just choose 1 and 3. Really not sure. Okay, the graph shows how the turgor pressure inside a plant cell varies when its cell is placed in external solutions of different concentrations. What is the state of the cell at point X? So the turgor pressure is the least here. Low turgor pressure. And that means that the water has left. Water is out the cell. So it has lost water, is now flaccid. Clearly. That's the only option that fits. because it can't be turgid. If it was turgid, it would be higher up on the scale here. So it's not this. It has gained water and is turgid. It can't gain water and become flaccid. That's wrong. It can't lose water and become turgid. And at X, the turgidity is really low. So the only right option is C. Yep. Diagram shows length of DNA, which is the sequence of bases in the unlabeled strand of DNA. So we have to just remember this. A goes with T and C goes with G. So it has to be T, A, C, G, T, G. Now we just match it. T, A, C, G, T, G. That matches, so that's it. Amylase and pepsin are digestive enzymes. The shape of their active sites are different. Yes. What causes the difference in their shapes of their active sites? They are different because they're produced by different parts of the digestive enzyme. They have different pH ranges. They contain different sequence of amino acids. They're made of different proportions of the... So C and D are very likely to be the answer because the different pH range doesn't affect the shape of the active site, and the fact that they're produced in the digestive system doesn't affect it. What would affect the structure is the proteins that make them up. So I feel like it's C, because proportions of the bases A, T, C, and G, it just sounds wrong. Okay, I think this one was also a bit of a fluke, and I don't think I would technically be getting it right. Rate of enzyme controlled reaction decreases when temperature falls below the optimum. Okay, reaction decreases. Rate of reaction, fine. Some possible reasons why it slows down are listed. Enzyme molecules are denatured. Okay, so when temperature falls, enzymes are not denatured, but okay. Molecules have less kinetic energy. Yep, that sounds like something that would decrease the rate of reaction. Substances of the shape of molecules are changed, not at low temperatures. There are less frequent collisions. Yes, this is more chemistry than biology, but yes. So if particles have less kinetic energy, they can collide. They collide less frequently, and then therefore they react less, which slows down the rate of their reaction. Okay, which description of an enzyme catalyzed reaction is correct? The substrate binds to an enzyme with the same shape and product which is formed. Product binds to an enzyme with the same shape and substrate. Okay, the substrate binds to an enzyme with the same shape. Yes, not the same shape, it has to be complementary. So these are immediately out. Product binds, no, the product won't bind, the product will be formed. The substrate is not formed, product is formed. So through simple elimination, you can conclude the answer is D. Question 11. 4 test tubes are set up as shown. Test tubes are kept at 20 degrees Celsius in the light for 2 hours. Which test tube does the hydrogen carbonate indicator turn yellow? So we need to know about this indicator. This indicator detects an increase and decrease in carbon dioxide concentration. And when there is an increase in carbon dioxide concentration, it will clearly turn yellow. Okay, so in these test tubes, this one has 2 leaves, this one has 2 leaves, and this one has no leaves and no leaves. So there would be no change in carbon dioxide here. But for where the leaves are, there will be respiration occurring and photosynthesis. Photosynthesis would be occurring in this one and not in this one because the black paper would block out the light, so light wouldn't be able to get in, therefore no photosynthesis. Photosynthesis produces glucose and oxygen, and respiration produces carbon dioxide and water. So here, carbon dioxide level would not increase because it would again be used to make glucose for photosynthesis, but here, since photosynthesis is not occurring, there would be a buildup in carbon dioxide concentration, so it's B. 12. The substances listed are found in the leaf of a plant. Which substance is obtained from the soil? Carbon dioxide from the air, chlorophyll is in the chloroplast, glucose is made at photosynthesis in the leaf. This is the air, this is leaf. Mineral ions are in the soil with water. Okay, the cholera bacterium produces toxins that can cause chloride ions to be secreted into the small intestine. What is the immediate effect of this on the water potential of the blood in the intestinal capillaries? So, we have the intestine, and we see that chloride ions secreted into the small intestine. So if chloride ions are secreted into the small intestine, that means there's a high water potential here and a low water potential here. So water molecules will also move into the small intestine. So water potential in the blood capillaries, which is here, would be lowered, and contents of the small intestine would be raised. Okay. Graph shows concentration of maltose in different parts of the alimentary canal. What causes the change in concentration in X? So in the small intestine, this is maltose concentration. And maltose changes into glucose in the walls of the small intestine. And so we see maltose is decreasing. So that means it must be absorbed into the intestine, but it could also be just converted into glucose. So the maltose is changing into glucose, so this concentration goes down and this concentration goes up. So it's not absorption, it's actually action of amylase. Wait, but amylase acts on glucose, on starch molecules. So again, keep in mind, maltase acts on maltose. Change it into glucose. Don't mix up your enzymes. Diagram shows a bean seedling soon after it has germinated. Where is the most water absorbed? I don't have much idea about this question, but I would say C, the root hair cell. Next question, 16. Okay, so for this question, scientists investigate the movement of substances in a plant. They cut a ring of tissue from the stem. Removing the tissue removes some of the transport vessels around the edge of the stem. A few days later, they notice swelling above the area where the tissue has been removed. So, in this case, what we have to know is that outside layer is phloem, and the inside layer is always the xylem. And in a stem, I believe, it looks like this, where the inside half is the xylem. So this part is the xylem, and the outside part is the phloem. So the phloem has been cut off. So all this thing that has been swelled up and collected is basically sucrose. So what is causing the swelling? Phloem vessels have been removed and sucrose can't move to the sink. Yep, straight away that is the answer, but let's look at the other options. Phloem vessels have been removed and sucrose cannot move to the source. Well, why would the sucrose be wanting to go to the source? At least this part is correct. Phloem vessels has been removed. Xylem vessels has been removed. Nope. And that eliminates it. Diagram shows the outside of human heart. Which structure is a coronary artery? So, the coronary artery are blood vessels that supply blood to the heart, and these are the blood vessels, so D. For question 18, it says, what happens in the heart when blood flows from the atria to the ventricles? So from the atria, so if we have our simple heart here, atria to the ventricles. Okay, so in the atria to the ventricle, so these muscles would have to contract and push it, like, go inward, so the blood could be forced down into the ventricles. So I'll say contract. Atrioventricular valves, those are found at the connection of here. That valve is here, and the valve that goes up like this is the semilunar valve. So if the blood would be flowing down here, it would have to be open, and the ventricle muscles would have to stay relaxed, so the blood could actually flow in and get collected. So the only option is B. Campylobacter is a bacterium that causes food poisoning. Which word describes Campylobacter? It's a bacterium and it causes food poisoning. It's not an antibody. A disease is something long-term. It is a pathogen and it's not a symptom, but the pathogen fits it the best. What is the approximate percentage of oxygen in expired air? So when we breathe in, inspire, we have 21%. That's how much is in the atmosphere. And when we expire, we only leave 16%. So in expired air, we would have 16%. And for CO2, we start with 0.04% in the air, in the atmosphere in general, and then we expire 4%. Just facts you should know. Which row shows processes that use energy from respiration? So diffusion is a passive process, so it doesn't require energy. Cell division requires energy. Osmosis, again passive, doesn't require energy. Muscle contractions do. Passage of nerve impulses do, and active transport does require energy, ATP specifically. So in the syllabus, the uses of energy we are supposed to know are muscle contractions, protein synthesis, cell division, active transport, growth, passage of nerve impulses, and to maintain a constant body temperature. These all require energy, and these are all in the syllabus that are specifically stated we must know. So we must learn that. What is the word equation for anaerobic respiration in yeast? So in yeast, the word equation is that glucose, since it's anaerobic, there is no oxygen. So glucose straight away turns into alcohol, specifically ethanol, and carbon dioxide. In muscles, anaerobic respirations occurs, and it just goes straight from glucose to lactic acid, which is option D, which is anaerobic respiration in animals. So for yeast, it is A. Which substances are excreted from the human body? From the human body, carbon dioxide excreted from the lungs, urea excreted from the kidneys, and water is excreted also from the kidneys, but it is excess water that is excreted. So if we look for an option with just 1 and 2, we will find it, but I'm not actually sure if water is considered. I would say 1, 2, and 3 then, because water is excreted. What is a response to a low concentration of blood in the glucose? So if there's low concentration of glucose in the blood, we need glucose to get into the bloodstream. And to do that, there is a hormone called glucagon, which will convert glycogen to glucose. Glycogen is stored in livers and muscles, and it converts it into glucose, and then which is put into the bloodstream. That's how the concentration of glucose is increased again and maintained. Which structure can reduce how much light enters an eye? So, which structure can reduce this? It is the iris. And we have to identify all the structures here. So A is the sclera, B is the iris, which is our correct option, C is the lens, and D is the cornea. Diagram shows a section through the human skin. What are the structures labeled X, Y, and Z? So we see that Y is a muscle-like structure, which is connected to the hair, so it must be the hair erector muscle. And Z is a gland, which is opening into the skin. So this must be the sweat gland. And this is the only option that actually connects, which indicates that X must actually be a receptor, which then follows to a sensory neuron, which goes to the brain to deliver messages about what it's receiving. So correct option should be B. Disease cannot be treated with antibiotics. What is the reason for this? What could be the reason for this? So if the disease is not bacterial, the antibiotic cannot treat it. That is correct. If the pathogen is a virus, the antibiotic cannot treat it. That's also correct. And the patient has become resistant to the antibiotic. If it has become resistant, that means it won't be effective and the disease won't be cured. So 3 is also correct, but I'm a bit cautious of the wording because it says the patient has become resistant, but in my opinion it should have said the antibiotic has become resistant. So if I look for an option of just 1 and 2, I will find it, but then there's also this option. So I would go with A in this case, because I feel like the wording is a little bit off in 3, so I'm not really sure, but we'll see in the mark scheme later on. Okay, diagram shows a strawberry plant. These plants can reproduce asexually by reproducing plantlets. Never heard of this. Why is this method of reproduction useful to strawberry farmers? So plantlets produced by meiosis, genetically different. If it's asexual, they would be genetically identical. So I think we can eliminate these options, genetically different. And if they are genetically identical, it would have to be by mitosis, because meiosis produces gametes, which creates variation. So it should be D. Okay, 29. Which statement about human gametes is correct? Female gamete has an acrosome? No. So we have our sperm. Cannot draw today. This is the acrosome of the sperm, which is filled with enzymes and is non-motile. Yes, the egg cannot move. Female gamete has a jelly coating and is motile. It cannot move because there's no flagellum. There's nothing that will actually help it to move. The cilia is the only thing that aids it in its moving. Male gamete has a flagellum and is not motile. Non-motile, that's wrong. It has a flagellum, which helps it move. Gamete has an acrosome, yep, and is motile, yep. So it must be D. 30. The diagram shows stages of protein synthesis in a cell. Which row identifies molecules 1, 2, and 3? Where's 1? 1, so in the nucleus, of course, you're going to find the DNA. In 2, this seems like some strand of DNA has escaped the nucleus and is in the cytoplasm, so this must be a copy of it, which is the mRNA. And 3 are clearly the amino acids, which must be C. Okay, 31. Which description of stem cell is correct? Stem cells are cells that can become specialized to any function. So initially they are unspecialized cells, and they divide by mitosis to produce daughter cells that can become specialized for specific function. So it must be C. I don't think they divide by meiosis, because meiosis is only used to produce gametes, which stem cells are not for. 32. Some breeds of cattle hair color shows co-dominance. Coats may be red, white, or roan. Mixture of red and white hairs. Okay. What are the expected phenotypes when a parent with red coat is crossed with a parent of roan coat? Okay, so this is red coat, and they're crossed with someone with a white coat. If we just form our Punnett square, we can see, I'm not going to write that H right now because it's kind of problematic, but we can see that we get, if this was roan and it's RW, then we get 50% roan. And we get 50%, which is red actually. So it has to be this. Oh, not this, not white. Make sure to read the question and the answers carefully. Which statement is correct? Discontinuous variation mainly caused by environmental factors. Discontinuous variation is like eye color, and it's not caused by environmental factors, it's actually caused by genes. Ionizing radiation, some chemicals decrease the rate of mutation. Well, no, because mutation is caused by random mating, ionization by meiosis, by random fertilization, and things like that. So it can't be this, can't be B, can't be A. Gene mutation is a change in the base sequence of a DNA molecule. Yep, that is a definition you should know. And small variation in height within a human population are example of discontinuous variation. No, because discontinuous variation, the values are actually fixed. So small variations in the height actually imply continuous variation. So it must be C. A person who is homozygous means they have the same like genes, so it must be like RR or RR. For the sickle cell allele has a child with a person that is heterozygous. What is the likelihood that the offspring would be homozygous for the sickle cell? So we don't know if the sickle cell is actually dominant or not, but someone is homozygous, let's just say they're big S, and someone which is heterozygous, we can say that they are, actually I would do this. So the dominant one is that they are someone without sickle cell. Okay, so if we cross it, we get actually 50% with sickle cell alleles. So that should be our answer. 35, diagram shows a food web. How many organisms are feeding at more than one trophic level? Okay, so this one we have to really carefully look. So the rabbit is a primary consumer. The bee is a primary consumer. This is a primary consumer. This is a primary consumer. And the shrew can be either primary, secondary. Actually, the grouse can be primary and secondary, or it can just straight up be primary. So that's one. So another one, we have to find it. Let's see, stoat, maybe secondary, primary, primary, secondary, tertiary, that's 3, and then primary and secondary. Yeah, so this is another one. And then we can also find this is primary, secondary, tertiary. So not that, there's only one path. The eagle, it could be primary, secondary, it could be primary, secondary, primary, secondary. So is there actually just two that I see? So I don't see a third one. So I think we'll just stick with two. Diagram shows part of the nitrogen cycle. Which row shows the correct labels? Now this I am not very confident with, but let's try. So I've written down all the processes that take place because it will help us answer it. So if we look at some nitrogen gas going to ammonia, if we can find it in here, nitrogen in the atmosphere going into the soil. Okay, let's leave that one for now. So, we just have to find nitrification, which is ammonium, 2 nitrate ions. So that must be 3. And then maybe we can eliminate. So nitrogen fixation is, again, like the gas to the ammonium ions. So the gas is here, and the only place it's going is into here and here. I feel like 6 should be nitrogen fixation. Denitrification is nitrate ions to N2 gas. So nitrate ions go back into the atmosphere, so there should be 1. That should help us to eliminate something. Yes, there's no 6 here, so it must be C, right? Okay. Because 4 decomposers, yeah, I have no clue. I have to review that topic. Which statement explains why bacteria are used in genetic engineering? So bacteria, it's ethical, they don't have feelings, and they reproduce really fast. So they are used in genetic engineering. Bacteria have plasmids, that is one reason they are used. They have actually a fast reproduction rate. Bacteria growing in a laboratory cause ethical concerns? Nope. And they can only manufacture simple molecules? Actually, no, they can manufacture things like B12 and insulin. So all these are wrong except for D. Okay, 38. Graph shows growth of fungus Penicillium. It's produced by the antibiotic penicillin. So which state of Penicillium growth curve produces highest concentration of penicillin? So this is the exponential phase, and this is actually the lag phase, I think. I haven't learned this, but I think it's the lag phase. And the death phase would be, but it's not drawn on. So it should be the lag phase. Which statement about, is it the lag phase or is it stationary phase? I think I would actually call this stationary. But then what would be lag? I think lag, the graph would look like this, and then this, and then this, and then this. This would be lag. So I think I'm going with stationary phase. Which statement about sustainable resources is correct? Do they include fossil fuels? No, because they're not sustainable. They include non-renewable resources? No, because sustainable resources would be renewable. The production rate is equal to the removal rate. That sounds like a sustainable resource. The production rate is smaller than the removal rate, so they're produced less than they are removed. I feel like that just sounds wrong, so should we see? What is the least sustainable method of helping to maintain a population of fish in a lake? So, only allow female fish to be caught and eaten. The least sustainable. Okay, we are finding a bad way. Allow fishing at certain times of the year. That is good. Allow fishing in certain areas. That is good. Allow largest fish to be caught and eaten. That is good. So the smaller one can actually grow. So I feel like this is the least sustainable way. Only eating the females. And now let's mark it. No, this might create problems. This game's a little weird. Okay, let's see. Let's start with, okay, so let's see how badly or well, I did. C, B, A. Ooh, this is B. So it's not 3 water molecules from mesophyll cells into the air. This doesn't require oxygen. Maybe we're just talking about ATP, nitrate ions from a dilute solution in the soil, to more concentrated. Oh, I see. So we're going from low concentration. Oops. So we are going from a low concentration to a high concentration in both these cases which use ATP, which require oxygen. And this is diffusion, which is a passive process. Wow, okay. Which oxygen must be present. So I guess they mean like in any stage they have to be present. Okay. Well, C, yep. Next, B, C, D, 11 is B, yep. 12 is D, 13 is C. So water potential in the blood capillaries is raised and the contents is lowered? Let's see this. 13. Cholera bacterium produces toxins, cause chloride ions to be secreted in the small intestine. Immediate effect on the water potential of blood in the intestinal capillaries and the water potential of the contents of the small intestine. Immediate effect. So if there's more chlorine ions in the small intestine, shouldn't it create a high water potential in the blood capillary? Or yeah. Oh wait, I literally wrote it correctly. It would be high water potential and a low water potential, so it should be lowered and high. This is in the blood. This is in the intestine. Why can't I read my own writing? So contents of the small intestine would be lowered, but if there's more water, it should be raised. Oh, it's the water potential. Yes. Okay. So the water potential would actually be lowered as soon as it goes in. I literally wrote it. I can't believe I didn't see it. But okay. 14. Oh, yes, it is C. We got that. We got this. 15 is C. Yes. So even though I wasn't sure, just pick green hair cells. It seems like the most reasonable answer. 16 A, 17 D, 18 B, 19 C, 20 C, 21 D. Oh, I didn't. Okay, guys, don't be like me and just not even take the correct answer, because it's all here. I just forgot to tick it. So I say that's correct. 22 is A, 23 is C, 24 is B, 25 is B, 26 is B, 27 is A, 28 is D, 29 is D. Oops. Okay, 30 is C, 31 is C, 32 is A, 33 is C, 34 is C, 35 is D. Oh, it's D. What? Which one did I miss? There's this one. There's this one. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2. Which one did I miss? Primary. Okay. Primary, secondary. Primary. I got that. Primary, secondary. Primary, secondary. Primary, secondary. Yeah, I think so. Which one did I miss? watching. If you know the answers, please comment down below and help me to